morning. Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic is going to be job search trends for 2025. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. Riding solo today. I was supposed to be doing the live stream with my buddy Christina Taylor, but she's fine, but she had some car trouble today and was not able to make it in. So, just so that you know, and I'm checking to see if we're live. Hello today. And I can hear us, so we are live. Awesome. All right. Now, also, if you're watching live and in the chat and you have any questions, let me know. So, guys, job search trends are going to change from year to year. And it's important that we kind of stay on top of that so that we're prepared. So this is actually the last live stream of the year. And we're going to kick it off with what to expect coming up here in the new year. So let's get into it. One trend that is going to happen is that engaging passive talent will be vital to the recruiting process. Now, what that means is that recruiters are going to be going after people that are not actively looking, that are just kind of maybe got their resume posted, maybe they're on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn did ask recruiters what skill is needed in the next 5 years, and 83% said engaging passive talent. The companies are going to do this through branding, through outreach follow-up, and also through employee referrals. In fact, I know a recruiter who he only wants to recruit people that are currently working. He wants that top talent. Now, if you're a job seeker, what this means for you is you need to be a lot more visible. You're going to need to work on standing out. I know there's a lot of people that are looking for work, but they don't work on standing out. Make sure that everybody in your life, whether it is a friend, a family member, an acquaintance, somebody that you just met playing a pickup game of basketball, I don't care who, but everybody that you come across should know that you are looking for work. Also, make sure that you are posting content on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn so much. Right? It is, if you understand how the site works and all the things it can do for you as a job seeker, it can very well be your new best friend. But you've got to be visible. You've got to engage in other people's content, and you need to start posting your own content. The question I usually get that follows is, Jason, I don't know what to post. I'm going to tell you. Okay? There's actually a formula for posting content on LinkedIn. It is 1, why you're the expert in the field. 2, how do you solve problems? And 3, some personal stuff. Now, when we do personal stuff, don't tell me about the fight that you and your girlfriend had over the last piece of pumpkin pie. It's pumpkin pie season, and pumpkin pie is actually my favorite pie. It's the only pie I will ever eat. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those little glimpses into your life where people might find something interesting. I think it's also a good idea to put some of those personal stuff into your headline on LinkedIn. Don't just tell me what your job title is or where you formerly worked. Get some personal things in there. Currently, my personal stuff in my headline reads avid walker and comic book geek. And when I meet and connect with people for the first time, I'm asked 1 or 2 questions. Oh, you're an avid walker. How far do you walk? And I answer 5 to 7 miles a day. Or, oh, what superheroes do you like the best? And then we're going to talk about Batman for about 5 minutes. They're just as conversation starters. It helps people get to know you. At the end of the day, people are going to hire people that they like. And if you're giving them reasons to like you, you're winning. So think about ways that you can be visible. Other ways that you can be visible, start talking to people. But like, I think this time of year is an excellent time of the year to do job search. Like, who's in your phone right now? Who can you text that you haven't talked to in, I don't know, a few months, a few years even? Just text them, hey, happy holidays. You can do the same for DM. What? Let's say you interviewed for a job a few months ago. You didn't get the position. If you're still interested in working for that company, send that recruiter an email and just in the subject line put happy holidays. Be like, hey, Rick, just wanted to touch base and wish you a happy holidays and a great new year. Thanks, Jason. If you are top of mind for recruiters and hiring managers, you're more than likely to want to get called up. Also, too, go to meetups. If you don't know about meetups, go to meetup.com and register for some meetups, and then it will start suggesting things. You'll put in like things that you like to do, and then it'll start suggesting meetups for you to go to. What I love about meetups is you show up and they're already going to like you because you like whatever the topic is of that meetup, right? But they're also going to really like you because you're new. It's not just Brenda and Jill and Rhonda and Jay and Michael anymore. They're like, oh, hey, who are you? What do you do? Guys, I really believe that the best way to get into any new opportunity is to start talking to people. If you come at me and you tell me, Jason, I'm talking to people, I'll be like, you're not talking to enough people. Talk to more people. It is the thing that makes the difference. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now. You're going to go to meetups and you have to keep going. You can't just go one time. But you'll go, they'll get to know you. Eventually, they will ask you something about yourself, your life, what you do. You can go, oh, well, you know what? I was just laid off. I'm a project manager for the IT. I'm an IT project manager. I'm looking for my next gig. Okay. Oh, cool. And ask them, what do you do? And they'll tell you what they do. Right? And then you know what's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. But what you're doing is you're planting those seeds so that what usually happens in life is they'll be going about their day. They will be talking to either somebody at their company or somebody that they know, a friend that you don't know who's looking for an IT project manager. It's like, oh, I got this guy in my meetup. I think he would be somebody you'd want to talk to. And now you got the lead. But you've got to be visible. In fact, I just told you, employers, recruiters, they're going to be looking for people that are currently working. They're looking to get those passive people. So that means you, as a job seeker, you need to work harder to be visible. So make sure that you're visible out there. Another trend that's going to happen is going to be salary transparency. Candidates are going to want to know the job ranges for the position. What's the salary range look like, right? And they want to know that before they show up to go interview because, you know, time's valuable, right? So if there's not a salary range attached to the job posting, and there should be, I am 100% yes, there should be a salary range attached to the job. Sometimes there's not, okay? But get into Google and type in what is the salary for an accountant at McKesson, Dallas, and hit go. It will bring you up a range or get you pretty close. So you're going to kind of know going into it what it is going to be. Lee Hecht Harrison surveyed and found that 85% of recent college graduates will not apply to a position if there is no salary listed. I say 85%. That's a huge number. And so companies have figured this out, and so they are posting a lot more on the salary range to attract talent. They don't want to exclude talent, so they're going to continue. And this is a trend that's already started, but they're going to continue this trend in 2025 of posting salary. The next question I almost always get is if there's not a salary posted, should I apply? Yes, you should apply, especially if this is a target company or someplace where you specifically want to work. Most definitely apply. You're probably not going to get called for that position anyway, just because of how the applicant tracking software works, which, if you don't know, it is set up and designed to block 97% of the people that do apply to the position. So you may not be getting a call back, especially if you are later in the process. And what I mean is, so how recruiters work is the job comes in, the first thing they do is they run a search in the applicant tracking system to see who might already be in the system and already a match. Meanwhile, people are starting to apply. Then they go back to the dashboard, they have the software, and see those people that apply, and those that are qualified are getting called. But if you're not within the first 7 to, I'm going to say 12 people that have applied, as more people start applying, you're way down the list, and you very well might not get called. But the important thing is, you're in the software, you're in the system now. So they may go run another search, and you may come up in that search. This is why, again, it's really important to be visible and start talking to people so that they know who you are already, and you're kind of the go-to persons for when positions do come up. But so there will be a lot more transparency for job postings coming up here in the future. So next trend, and this actually has started. It started already, like in about mid-year this year, about 2024, if not a little bit sooner. Companies are good. There's going to be a bigger demand for soft skills. Soft skills, guys, like active listening, empathy, those kinds of things, right? So in recent years, employers are starting to hire for skill versus experience. Because let's face it, just because you've been in a job 5+ years doesn't necessarily mean you're good at it. In fact, there's no growth. You may not even have, it could just mean that you're okay being okay and are stagnant. But I've had some coworkers before that have been in positions for a long time, and they were absolutely terrible at the job. It happens. So just because you're there for a while doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be good at it. Companies are hiring for the person, not necessarily the qualifications. What that means is it's going to be super important that you're able to communicate your transferable skills to the recruiter. I'll never forget, I came in to interview for this position, and Allison's going through the questions. Hey, Allison. And she asks, what's your greatest strength? And I immediately said, empathy. I said, I don't think that you can do this job effectively as a coach if you're not empathetic. And she's like, that's a really good answer. And it's also the true answer. So think about some of those soft skills that you have, and how they're going to translate. So another thing that's going to happen, as business needs are going to change, companies will, what they call right skill employees. They will develop talent from within. This is going to be like a lot of cross-training, a lot of learning on the employee's part. So what that means, especially if you're looking for work, is that retention is going to be a huge trend in 2025. Companies are going to invest a lot more in their employees. So that is going to make things a little bit more difficult for your longer term unemployed people. So again, you're going to need to be visible. What's going to be part of the hiring process for 2025 is professional development. Employers are going to be investing more in their people, and they are going to be real upfront about that in the interview process. A lot of them are developing programs to help employees transition into the role and focus on candidates that have transferable skills and can adapt quickly. Hey, adaptability. That's a good soft skill to have, right? So, and what was interesting is I was just working with a client on their stories on how to answer questions, and that was one of them. That was one of the questions that we workshopped the other day is tell me a time when something changed in your department or the company. How did you adapt? And we worked on that in her story. I think oftentimes for experience-rich job seekers, and those are people that are over 40, but I think that learning or showing that you are able to change and adapt is going to be crucial. Oftentimes, I think that experience-rich workers do not get employed for a couple of reasons. One, you're not showing the willingness to learn new things, or two, it's, back in the day, nobody cares about what happened back in the day. Companies want to know how you can help them move forward. How can you solve their problem and advance them in their department and going forward? And that's usually where most experience-rich workers falter. That and not practicing enough. Practicing interviews, that's kind of important. You have to practice. It's a good time to plug our virtual interview practice program, VIP Squared. We do that every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central Time. I've got a whole team of volunteers with extensive experience in interviewing people and hiring people. And it's virtual, so you can participate anywhere in the world. What will happen is you will show up, and I will put you in a breakout room with the interviewer. They will interview you for 15 minutes. Then there will be you'll be interviewed for 30 minutes. I've had a lot of coffee today, guys. Okay, it's Caffeinate your career coach today. So they interview you for 30 minutes, and then there's 15 minutes of feedback, and the inner part is done. So the whole thing will be completed in 45 minutes. And then they will send me a feedback form by the end of the week, and you will have something in your hands, something tangible of things that you might want to improve upon for your next interview. So if it's something that you're interested in, and all of you should be, again, where job hunters make the biggest mistake, they don't put enough practice time in interviewing. So if you're interested in doing a practice interview next year, so it'll be next year, on the 7th, that's when we're doing it again, email me at jhopper, HOPPER, at jfsdallas.org. Put practice interview in the subject line, and I'll need your resume and also like what you want to interview for. What is it that you want to interview for? Like if you're an accountant, great. Or if you want to pivot into a different role, you need to tell me like what that role would be, because what we do is we're going to ask industry specific questions about your role. So we want to make this as real an experience as possible. So tell me those two things. Hit me up. I've already got like 3 people scheduled for next year. So they're going to go fast. And if they fill up, we'll put you on the wait list because almost always somebody cancels. So practice interviews. You got to practice. Also, too, so if this is the case, if employees are going to focus on retention and professional development of the employees that they already have, as a job seeker, it is a good idea for you to ask, does the company invest in continued growth? It's a good culture question. All right. This is continuing to be a trend. It was a trend at the end of 2023, it was a trend all through this year, and it will continue to the next year in 2025. What is it, Jay? More hybrid versus remote jobs. Now, look, there's always going to be some remote positions, okay? There will. It's not going away. Remote work is not ending, but 100% remote jobs are seriously few and far between. Guys, companies are not going to pay for a building and pay rent on a building and not expect to have people in it. It's just not realistic. I'm laughing. I had a client. It's like, Jason, I need a remote job. I said, you're going to be unemployed for a while. I just talked to, actually, Christina was just here last week. She's a recruiter. She said, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of remote jobs. We don't have remote jobs. I just a few months ago talked to a regional director of a staffing company and asked her the question, hey, you guys have a lot of jobs you're working on. How many are remote? She said, 1. Guys, remote work is going away, and you need to make sure that you are prepared for that. In fact, I'll give you a statistic. LinkedIn reported that only 10% of the jobs listed were remote, and also that those jobs got 40% of applicants. So of all the jobs posted on LinkedIn, and I don't know how many there are, but there's a lot, only 10% were listed as remote. So what that means is there are a lot less remote jobs, but a lot more people still want to work remotely. But it's just not happening right now. And I don't think it's ever going to go back. This is not 2020 anymore. Remote jobs, they're going away. They just are. Get used to a hybrid model. Most companies are having employees come in 3 days in the office, 2 days work from home. Okay, and some are doing 4 days in the office, 1 day at home. So be prepared to show up and be in the office. Also, too, studies have shown that the people that are in the office, the people that are visible in the office are, one, those who get promoted, but also, two, if layoffs are coming, they're the ones that get to stay. And the remote people usually get cut. It's just the facts. So say, out of sight, out of mind. How visible are you? Be prepared to go into the office, okay? And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, but I don't care if you want to work remote." That's not what the market is showing right now. It's just not. Another trend. You guys have like 5 of y'all watching live right now. If you have any questions, put them in the chat because I'm not paying that much attention to it because it's just me today. But if you have questions, put them in the chat and I will answer them. Because the next trend, and this started again, it was about mid-2023, it popped up, and it was a trend through all this year, and it's going to continue. What's that trend? Artificial intelligence. I think it's kind of funny. AI has been getting a lot of traffic and a lot of push lately, right? But AI isn't new. It's been around since 1950. In fact, we talk about the applicant tracking software, right? The ATS. Every ATS has a version of AI in it. Okay, it's not anything that is new. Companies are going to be using AI to speed up that recruiting process. Applicant tracking software, sure. But also, too, chatbots are becoming a lot more common. And you're going to see a lot more of those pop up. A lot of websites are going to have them. I had a client who had a phone conversation, like a pre-interview kind of thing. And she said it was definitely a robot and an AI talking to her. But she said it kind of sounded human, but you could tell by on her responses how or what the difference was in how it was interacting with her. She was able to tell that it was artificial intelligence talking to her. So that tells me, and it's something that you should know, right, is that they're even doing phone screens now. And how crazy is that? Also, too, employers are going to be a lot more upfront about how they're using AI in the job search process. This was the case, like my client had that phone call, and it was kind of like she didn't know, right? But companies will be like kind of giving you or telling you ahead of time, hey, we're going to set up this automated call for you, or and that's already happened too, where you do like interview. It's just like the one-way interview. Those would be more common. Those are more common as well. There's a couple different ones. HireVue's one, but there's a few of those out there. But so AI is going to continue to play a part in the process, and so be prepared for more AI stuff coming up. So, got a question. Daryl Paulston said this trend will continue as companies will use remote workers as temp contract gigs from PwC and WEF. Yes, that is absolutely true. Thanks for that comment, Daryl. I appreciate that. Okay, so those are some of the trends for coming up in 2025 for job search. Again, my best thing that I could say is, guys, if you're on the job hunt, you need to be more visible. Be more visible. Make sure you're posting content on LinkedIn. Make sure that people know that you're looking for work. Like, get out there and get in front of people. Because again, what were the big takeaways? Were not only retention, but passive. Looking for passive candidates, and also to professional growth. So that means it's going to be a lot harder in 2025 to find jobs. Okay, so get out there and get visible. So this is the last live stream for the year. I'm hoping that everybody has an excellent holiday season coming up. Whether you, whatever holiday you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it might be, that it's great and you get to spend time with your friends and family. And look, 2025 is right around the corner. Our next live stream is going to be on the 7th. So I can't believe we're just a few weeks out from the new year. But on January 7th, we're going to have our financial coach, Brenda Butnick, will be my guest host. And we will be discussing love and money. Did you know that reasons for people getting divorced, money is number 2? Adultery is number 1. Money is number 2. People get divorced because of money. So we're going to talk about how to talk about money with your partner. So be on alert for that. And let's see real quick. Daryl just Daryl said, as per these reports, only core positions will remain permanent. And as global companies wish to utilize global pay scales and constraints of labor. Thank you for that, Daryl. Throw a like on that real quick. All right, guys, this has been Caffeinate Your Career. Have a great holiday and New Year. We'll see you next year. Bye.